Now listen, you might have already heard of One Piece, one of the most iconic anime of all time. But have you heard of its crazy knockoff? I highly doubt it. That's right, today I'm covering Bogus Skill Fruitmaster, about that time I became able to eat unlimited number of skill fruits that kill you. An anime that is as bogus as it sounds. As the long-ass name might suggest, we're dealing with a cheap man's devil fruits, also known as skill fruits, aka magic fruits that can give you all kinds of abilities. And these weird fruits range from this to this, and even this. Super fun stuff if I'm being completely honest. Alright, now let's get into the episodes. Episode 1 opens on a big-ass ancestral magical tree that apparently grows the famous skill fruits. And like all powers, it's believed skills should be used for good. But we'll just see about that. We then meet childhood friends Light and Lena on their way to the Holy City to take their first and only bite of the skill fruit. Like all classic main characters, Light rambles about his dreams of one day being a great adventurer. And of course, Lena supports all his delusions and promises to stick with him. They eventually meet the confusingly powerful and low-key cult leader nun, Saint, who warns Light and Lena that the skill fruit should only be eaten once, unless you wanna effing die. Yeah, funny enough, Lena just happens to get one of the rarest powers of all, the Sword Saint skill, giving her crazy sword skills and agility. Holy maybe Light will get an ability just as cool as this. Yeah, I'm just kidding. He gets an equally rare but honestly crappy skill, Fruitmaster, which is the ability to grow fruits at record time. Well, there goes that dream. The duo is then separated as Saint sends Lena away to master her new kick-ass skill. Cut to 3 months later. Light tricks himself into loving this power by growing and selling fruits for cheap. We then also find out that Lena has become quite a superstar, now classified as an S-ranked adventurer. Well, at least someone's living it up. But Light continues training, hoping to reach her level without even having a fancy skill. Suddenly, we also meet a pizza-loving orphan named Isla. With the town's chief forcing Light to take her into his care, they've grown pretty close, helping each other out on Light's farm. Later, we also find out that Light's been growing the skill fruit to earn extra cash. But of course, clueless Isla accidentally ends up putting some skill fruit in their effing dinner. Well, Light had a good run. Actually, he's still alive and manages to get a second skill, the even rarer Sword God skill, which is essentially a step up from his old pal Lena's abilities. The skill fruit also accidentally gives Isla the appraisal skill, allowing her to see everyone's power. God damn! With her skill, Isla realizes that because of Light's Fruitmaster abilities, he's immune to any kind of fruit poison, meaning Light's dream is back on. Lucky bastard. With his new sword skill, Light decides to join the Adventurers Guild, led by Saint, and finally starts earning some real cash, hunting and fighting monsters and whatnot. And after one of his missions, Light finally gets to see Lena after all this time. Turns out, she's now part of the famous S-ranked Sacred Party, a group of highly gifted show-offs. But to Light's surprise, Lena doesn't even know who the hell he is. Yikes! Tough break. Meanwhile, Saint apparently sees the future after looking into her intergalactic Snow White-looking mirror thingy, and it looks like a massive threat is coming. Pretty mysterious. In the next episode, we officially meet the Sacred Party members. The douchey group leader Godspeed Gross, idiot strong arm Eric, annoying little Raging Flame Sarim, and of course, Lena, who's still clueless about Light. Jeez, that's gotta hurt. But while on a pizza break, Lena secretly visits Light and Isla. Turns out, Lena does remember Light, but after being forced to join the Sacred Party by Saint, and the other members being selfish assholes, Lena wants to keep Light out of it. She even refuses Light's invite to join him and Isla. Something fishy is going on around here. So, after collecting their load of money from the guild, Light mans up and confronts Gross about letting Lena go. But like the overpowered bully he is, Gross threatens Light right back. The next day, Lena finally stands up to Gross, but he plays the bully card again. Damn, talk about a power trip. And as the culty Sacred Party is about to start a new mission, Light and Isla interrupt them by publicly inviting Lena to their group. Light also pulls out the big guns and challenges Gross. If Light wins, Lena gets to leave, but if he loses, Gross Gross wants Light banned from the guild. Simple enough. But with Gross's crazy speed, Light struggles a little too much. The man definitely needs some practice, but Light manages to recover using a freaking mop and his killer new reflexes to beat the out of douchey Gross. A few weeks after the fight, Light and Isla end up moving to Lena's massive house, and because Lena refuses to go back to the sacred party, Petty Saint gives them all the crappy paying jobs. Luckily for the trio, they actually enjoy doing simple tasks. Light, Isla, and Lena also end up screwing the so-called sacred party and make their own group called Luxeria, and with that, Light vows to be the greatest adventurer ever. Lena wants to actually help people, and Isla just wants to eat all the pizza in the world. Me too, man, whoa! Meanwhile, Saint uses her powerful position in the Adventurers Guild to give Luxeria a crazy dangerous S-ranked mission, and with her not giving a about the trio's lives, Saint puts her evil plans into motion. She also mentions something about the a priori, or the one who goes ahead. Saint seems to want to test if this a priori guy can actually change the future. Who the heck knows what she's up to? In the next episode, Light, Isla, and Lena are officially given the famous S-ranked mission, but turns out too many adventurers have already freaking died on it. Apparently, in the North Montess Valley region, near the big-ass home of a mysterious dead guy called Count Montess, there's a non-human threat making lots of adventurers go missing, and some were even Lena's friends. Yikes! So the trio needs to find out what the hell is happening there. Like a sane person, Lena wants out, but Light, with his delusions, convinces her and Isla, who's still a child, to accept it. Let's see how this goes. Eventually, as the trio almost falls to their death, they encounter zombie-like humans and adventurers. With Isla's appraisal skill, they realize the zombie adventurers can still use their abilities, and if the trio gets bit, they're toast. So after getting over the fact that he has to kill these ex-adventurers, Light and the others head inside this big-ass house, where they gotta fight even more zombies. With Isla's appraisal skill, the trio also finds out that the zombie adventurers have been tamed, meaning someone is pulling the strings. Light, Isla, and Lena are then led into a ballroom, where they find Dratenna, the dance-loving maniac responsible for all of this and a member of an evil group named Black Swan. With her skill necromancy, Dratenna is able to control the dead and spirit-type monsters along with their specific powers. It's actually kinda cool. To top it off, Dratenna reveals she's been ordered to kill Light, and Dratenna means business. She separates the trio, but thankfully they manage not to die. But Light begins to wonder, if Dratenna's powers don't create zombies or monsters, where the hell are they coming from? Back at the super intergalactic mirror thingy, Saint sees the moon being covered by an eclipse. Apparently, the a priori can't do much about what's coming. What the hell is happening though? In the next episode, Light and Isla are still figuring out where the undead are coming from, when suddenly, Isla spots the zombie version of Count Montess using his summon skill, allowing him to summon all kinds of monsters. Plus, Light and Isla also spot a soul reaper that turns people into zombies. And get this, Dratenna's been manipulating both zombie Montess and the Soul Reaper the entire time. It's got layers. So, quick story time. Dratenna reveals that Count Montess used to be considered a powerful hero, but since summoning monsters is a taboo skill or a frowned upon ability, people feared that he'd go insane and turn against them. So the town naturally sent assassins after him. But to protect himself and screw the town over, Montess summoned the dangerous Soul Reaper, killing everyone around, including himself. Pretty much a tit for tat kind of thing. Light then realizes people could also take advantage of or judge his Fruitmaster skill, ruining his adventure dream. But there's no time for that. Light gets his head in the game and helps Lena kill the monster and zombie Montess. With Dratenna now pissed, she uses the Count's last strength to summon a wicked dragon. And with the S-rank Wicked Dragon being slash-proof, Light and Lena's attacks are pretty much useless. But Isla comes to the rescue as she pulls out a skill fruit. At least someone's prepared. Meanwhile, out of the shadows, a mysterious masked figure takes Dratenna away. Interesting. Back to the trio. Light takes a bite of the fruit and gets the incredible bug-resistant skill. And as Lena keeps fighting for her life, Light risks eating 2 more skill fruits. He's now a cat charmer and has a weapon durability boost. Not exactly stuff to brag about. So Light eats another fruit, and with Lena down and some crazy symptoms kicking in, Light unlocks Sleep Pixie, giving him the ability to use fairy dust and make his opponent fall asleep. Finally, something useful. He then pulls a killer move and puts the wicked dragon to sleep, and they eventually hurry back to the holy city only to have Light faint from all that fruit. And remember the masked guy from earlier in the episode? Yeah, he returns Dratenna to Saint. Saint also happens to mention Light encountering the a priori one day. Definitely getting serious. In the next episode, Lena and Isla do the heavy lifting around the house while Light finally gets back on his feet, but the girls put him straight to bed, telling him to take it easy. Those fruits must be killers. Much later, Lena and Isla book it to the Adventurers Guild to report about the wicked dragon, but they've got some time to kill before their meeting, so Lena officially enrolls Isla as an adventurer and takes her out on a shopping spree. And at a sketchy shop, Isla finds out she can also appraise objects. Pretty cool trick. Meanwhile, Light is bored out of his mind, so Light plans to join the girls and also be praised for defeating the dragon. This should be interesting. As Lena and Isla enter the meeting, we learn that the Adventurers Guild is run by the 4 bureaus. The Inspection Bureau, run by a tiny lady named Flower Hat, the Security Bureau, run by the intimidating Tigerbeard, the Finance Bureau, run by bitter-looking Gravekeeper, and the Investigation Bureau, run by good ol' Saint. And with the trio's luck, Saint is the head of it all. Lovely. Isla gets curious and tries appraising Saint's skill, but she can't see. Something's up. And after mentioning Dratenna and Black Swan, Saint is even more sus. Instead of answering Lena, Saint wants to find out where the wicked dragon ran off to. But to track it, the bureau needs a piece of the monster. And suddenly, bam! Lena pulls out a dragon scale. Before taking any action, Lena demands to look at the guild's records first. Pretty sneaky. Of course, the 4 bureaus agree, and Flower Hat can officially use her Scholar's Eye, a skill allowing her to see anything ever written on paper. Great for the head of inspection. Flower Hat finds out everything about Dratenna's past in the city of Athena. Plus, she also reads that Saint was actually the one who gave Dratenna the skill fruit. But Saint plays dumb, obviously, and then pulls a petty move to disband Luxeria. But after taking a look at Light upon arrival, Saint quickly changes her mind. Typical villain behavior. Saint's only condition to not mess with Luxeria is to give them yet another S-rank monster hunt. And like a dumbass, Light takes the challenge. I guess you really can't beat Light's optimism. But first, Light needs a new sword since the other one was shattered during the wicked dragon fight. And in the meantime, Lena decides to research Dratenna on her own. And just like that, they're off on their individual missions. In the next episode, Light and Isla are looking for a new sword, but with all the blacksmiths being on Saint's side, getting a sword in the Holy City is not looking good. But they end up hearing about Bolst's workshop at the Tradesman District, so there's a little bit of hope. And while Lena travels to Athena, Light and Isla meet a quirky blacksmith named Monica. She happens to be the owner of the Bolst workshop with a crazy skill called Superforge, allowing her to give metal any property she wants. Jackpot! But after refusing to make him a sword, Monica takes Light to the real Bolst workshop across the street. Monica's dad, Ival, is the original blacksmith Light's been looking for, but because of being in high demand, Ival has no time for Light. So back to square one. Later it's revealed that Ival and Monica used to be very close. However, after someone used a sword Monica forged to kill her grandma, a traumatized Monica swore off weapons for good, which is honestly not surprising. We then meet the snobby Zamo and the loser Doug of the Blackbird Merchant Group, who threaten Ival to fulfill their insane weapon requests. No wonder Ival's been awfully busy. But Light promises Ival not to tell Monica about those assholes. And out of nowhere, we find out Zamo and Saint are working together. Apparently, she needs loads of weapons, but she also wants to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, so Saint orders Zamo to capture Light alive. After that night, Monica is captured and held for ransom by Zamo and this loser Doug, and Ival will only get her back if Light goes to their secluded meeting spot alone. But little do they know that the Sleep Pixie will just knock them right out, and as we check back in on Saint, it seems like she's theorizing on whether Light is the a priori. recovery. Ooh, interesting concept. In the next episode, Light officially makes an enemy of Xando. After Saint's meeting, Xando arrives and sees the Blackbird merchant group wiped out. But when Loser Doug and the other merchants wake up from the Sleep Pixie attack, Xando gets them ready to fight. So the next day, Xando attacks the workshop, holds the blacksmiths hostage, and challenges Light to a duel. Turns out, Xando has the Thunder Charge skill, allowing him to use lightning at will. This duel gets real as Xando pulls killer moves left and right. He even makes an electric tiger, for God's sakes. Light is effed. In the next episode, after Monica and Isla rescue Ival and the other blacksmiths from the Loser Doug, Monica and Ival put their heads together to make Light a temporary sword. They gotta hurry before Light gets beaten to a pulp though. Monica brings Light the new sword, and like a true anime character, Light makes a miraculous recovery. Isla also saves the day by bringing yet another skill fruit. Damn, how many does she have? This gives Light the Torch Flame skill, allowing him to light anything on fire, even his sword. And just like that, Light kicks Xando's ass. Oof, that was close. Then, suddenly, the Security Bureau and Tigerbeard finally show up and arrest the entire Blackbird merchant group. Took 'em long enough. A letter from Lena also arrives, saying her trip is taking a bit longer than she thought. Looks like Lena's dead set on finding out more about Dratenna. In the next episode, we finally get to see what Lena's been up to in Athena. Apparently, the city's big on its traditional fairy festival. Yeah, there's even a freaking bard going around. Lena also runs into Flower Hat and her partner Yuan. And since Flower Hat's looking for wicked dragon clues, Lena's Dratenna research fits right in. So, looks like we've got a new trio. Flower Hat leads Yuan and Lena to her informant, where they discover that Dratenna's family used to be pretty prestigious. That's until hit the fan with Dratenna's taboo skill. The only one who accepted Dratenna was, you guessed it, Saint. Definitely saw that one coming. And it's their lucky day, cause Dratenna's in town. Seems like Dratenna's been asked to perform at their sacred ritual called the Dance of the Fairies. Can't wait to see this. We also briefly find out about the famous fairy stone in Athena that apparently protects the town from monster attacks. But the new trio doesn't really care for it much, as they finally find Dratenna at dance practice. Turns out Dratenna's been bullied her entire life despite just wanting to dance. Damn, so that's how it is. But as Flower Hat captures Dratenna, Lena starts feeling all mushy and guilty, so Lena captures Dratenna right back. Unfreaking believable. But after letting Dratenna and Lena go, Flower Hat senses things are about to hit the fan in this town. There's black mist coming, for crying out loud. In the next episode, as Lena and Dratenna try to hide from Flower Hat, a monster comes out of nowhere. And to everyone's surprise, Dratenna's playing the good guy and saving everyone. Strange, huh? Lena also spots a random-ass tiny Pokemon-looking unicorn creating force fields. So naturally, Lena keeps it. But with more monsters spewing out of a freaking black mist portal, Dratenna and Lena join Flower Hat on this mysterious monster-filled side quest. Eventually, the group finds the mist coming from the innocent fairy stone, where the Elvian-ass bard turns out to be the real villain here. His name is Argos, who must apparently take back the land from the townspeople. Yeah, typical side villain energy. Flower Hat also pulls a crazy move known as Grimo Magia, which involves reading secret spells and maybe she's my favorite character. And since Argos used the fairy stone to open the portals, Lena obliterates it. But like a psycho, turns out Argos wanted that to happen, so he ends up summoning an even greater monster, the Wicked Dragon! Oh shit! In the next episode, with the townspeople safe in the city's cathedral, Lena, Dratenna, Flower Hat, and Yuan put their heads together to destroy the dragon. But Argos ends up fusing himself to the dragon with the mysterious possession skill. This situation just became 10 times harder. And while Lena kicks ass, the tiny unicorn turns out to be way stronger than anyone thought. He passes a memory of a great fairy war on to Lena. What the hell is this thing? The tiny unicorn also pulls a fusion move called the Blessing of the Fairies, giving Lena fairy wings and a badass sword. With her new powers, Lena then confronts Argos, demanding what the hell he's trying to pull. We suddenly hear an inner monologue about him working with our favorite villain on, Saint. What else is new? But he still proclaims his previous goal of taking back the land and disappears, because of course he does. In the last episode, Flower Hat finds a fallen talisman from Argos, and it's apparently from a so-called Zalem civilization, granting him the power to reverse spells. No wonder the fairy stone wasn't doing shit. And with Flower Hat keeping the talisman, they also try figuring out how Lena got all those badass powers. Then, suddenly, a mirage of Obel the Fairy King appears from the stone and confirms that the tiny unicorn did it. Turns out that inside the fairy stone is a full-sized unicorn named Synanderos. Another quick story time! You see, back in the day, Synanderos sacrificed himself inside that stone to allow the land to grow after the fairy war. Damn, what a hero! But now that it's not needed, Obel says Synanderos can now rest in peace. But first, Obel asks if the dance of the fairies can still be done as a farewell for the poor unicorn. So Dratenna finally gets to do her dance, and finally gets some praise from the town. Obel also gives Lena custody of the tiny unicorn, who's apparently Synanderos 2.0. So to honor that, Lena names him Synran. Pretty adorable actually. And as Obel disappears, Lena passes out. 2 days pass and Lena awakens to find that Saint has helped the town by gifting them weapons from the Blackbird merchant group. Oh lord, here we go. This means she probably knew of the attack beforehand. Flower Hat then spills the beans about Saint's secret skill. That nun has a precognition skill, meaning that can see the future. Perfect for a villain. So, to see what Saint's up to, Flower Hat decides to take in both Lena and Dratenna on her mission. But before the group leaves, Lena and the rest decide to take a breather and help fix up the town. And finally, we can catch up with Light. Lena manages to send a message letting Light know that she'll be away for way longer than expected, but Light promises Lena that he and Isla can take care of the S-rank job all on their own. Oh, the optimism. Meanwhile, good old Saint sets her sights on a place called Formido Woods as she preps for her fate-disrupting plans. Jesus with this woman. And as Monica gives Light his new sword Homura, she officially becomes part of Light's group in hopes of becoming a better blacksmith. And just like that, they're off. But wait, at Landeline, the gate of hope of the holy city, they are met by an emo S-rank solo adventurer and member of the inspection bureau, Signa Jaildal. Signa has apparently been tasked to accompany them on their mission. Yeah, that's not suspicious. Now, the new S-ranked mission can begin. Well, that pretty much does it for now. At least until the next season, where we better find out where the hell Saint came from. I mean, they can't just leave us hanging like this. Overall, I enjoyed the show for its simple premise and how the story unfolded, but let me know what you think in the comments. Please give the video a subscription and a thumbs up to help the channel. And, as usual, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.